doing? Can you hear me correctly? Why is the bitrate so low? I wonder. Oh, we'll see how we go. Music's a bit louder, okay. Music a bit louder or music's a bit louder? Not too sure what you said there, what you mean by that, Tomoki. Bone Brew, how you doing? Cosmic, drawing on a public holiday, the grind never ends. I didn't even realize it's a public holiday, to be honest. All the days just mesh and meld into one. Way louder than the mic. Okay, my apologies. Sorry, I don't have my headphones in right now. Give me a sec. They're charging. Okay, test. Eliza, good morning. Patan, great to have you. Architect, great to have you. Eliza, you're going to draw me? Okay, go for it. Go for it. I haven't been drawing lately and been focusing on painting and color theory. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. And I hate that I'm in my sketchbook now feeling like I've never touched a pen. That's all right. It'll come back quick. Don't worry about it. I said partend. How you doing? All right. So how's that? Audio levels wise. All right. Hopefully it's okay. So what I'd like to do today is, if I can just get myself situated. It's good. Great. 2001 green. Appreciate you, my friend. Did I use reference from New Masters Academy? I'm not sure. It was this one off of Pinterest. All right. So what I want to do here is I want to draw this lady in a stylized way and then see if I can sculpt her again because that was fun. So I'm going to give that a whirl. Okay. So let's see the shapes that I'm trying to find, block them out. You know, she's got a very specific sort of like angles. So I'm just gonna, I reckon we might just take this one right the way through. So we'll just go for this and see what we can come up with. So I don't know, I had fun the other day doing the sculpting. Maybe we can even try and figure out the front view and the side view while we're here. So this week's been busy as. Working on the platform. Working on the course. Content. Working on the plain Janes. It's like, it's just flown by. So here I'm just really trying to find not the exact shapes, because we're trying to still be stylized, still trying to have some fun with it, you know. I saw your 3D print of Jane Skellington. It turned out really nice. Yeah. It's coming along well. The tricky bit is getting all the keys and everything to fit together, which has been a challenge. But I think I figured that out. Now I'm heavily into the mold design process, because that's a whole art in itself that you just don't realize. How do you make a copy of the thing but do it efficiently with minimal mold lines or post-processing? That's the goal. William, how you doing? All right, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the shapes at the moment. I think they could be tweaked, which is what we're going to do. Maybe the nose is a bit higher potentially. We just play, move them around. See what we can come up with. Could even knock it back just a tad. All right, and let's see. The eyes. Now the eyes, they're wrapping around. Okay, we're going to make sure we still keep the lids, sorry. The lids are still wrapping around something, which is the eyeball. Duh, right? But I often forget that, and then I do this. And then I cut it straight the way through, and then I wonder why it looks weird. So we got to make sure we're doing that. Now she looks fed up, right? So we want to kind of have that similar kind of vibe. Now I'm liking the look of these sort of like under eye bags, I guess you could say, but not really. Just like a little subtle something. Eliza. Kevin, how you doing? From India. Great to have you. How do you decide how to stylize the character? In the reference, her face isn't as long and she looks more gamine. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just playing with shapes at the moment. I'm not really thinking too hard about it. I'm just experimenting. Experimentation is a massive part of it. Like try it with a shorter face, try it with a longer face. You know, you never really know until you give it a shot. Because until then, it's all theoretical. I'm not going for like super likeness either. If I was, I would really be taking my time and getting these shapes feeling or ringing a little bit more true to her. But I just like the overall silhouette, really. So that's what I'm going off of. But let's see. So the hair here, let's cut that back here. Because we've created new geometry, we've created a new thing in three-dimensional space, we've got to map everything else around that. We can't be too reliant on the reference anymore. I take it you're never not drawing, Ben? Like, do you have sketchbooks? I've never finished a sketchbook. Never finished a sketchbook. Don't draw in sketchbooks very often. Not saying that that's a fault of mine, I think. I would really love to. And I'm not really drawing all the time, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's... Once stuff becomes... particularly from what I'm trying to do here, there's sort of like seasons, I guess you could say. At certain points, I'm drawing a lot, creating a lot of content, putting it out there. And at certain points, I'm behind the scenes, working on projects, not putting out a lot of stuff. And it might not be projects directly related to drawing, like the platform, right? So it's kind of... But, I mean, every week I'm doing it here, which is a big part of why I'm doing this. Keeping me consistent, you know? Keeping me... still practicing. I could even see her nose. Scooch up a little bit more. So we could like play with this with like a little bit, maybe a little bit larger chin. We could try that. See, like there's, you mess around with millimeters and you change the whole look of the face. Gives it more, there's a little bit more interest here, I think, rather than everything sort of being more easily spaced out. I ask because focusing on painting feels like I'm not actually getting better at anything that is relative to my drawing skill, even though logically I know better. Yeah, painting's very, very closely tied to drawing. I mean, you could be like, yeah, duh, because it's like painting and drawing just in like general. But the techniques and skills, the values, the shape design, all that sort of stuff translates reasonably cleanly into drawing. Like you probably heard people say like you should paint like a, or draw like a painter, right? Should is a strong word as well, but you can. Now I think what we could do with this nose is actually bring it up higher. Maybe higher? I don't know. There's something with the nose that I would like to capture a little bit of what's going on from the reference. I would love to see it once it's ready. You and me both. I can't wait till it's ready. I always tell my friends to explore different mediums to learn certain principles faster. Eliza, I really agree with that. I really, really agree with that. I think it's a fantastic way to get different perspectives on the same principles as well. You know what I mean? The same thing. Now let's have a look. She's like, maybe I've given her a little bit too much attitude here, but maybe I want to, you know? Maybe I want her to be like, what? Looking around. That's a big chin there though, so maybe we knock that chin back just a smidge. Right, imagine the ear. Whoa, I think you're the first artist I've heard that doesn't have a sketchbook practice or swearing by it. Yeah, I never have. And it's probably to my detriment. By now, streaming's happening at 9 p.m. EST and 6 p.m. PST. Thank you, Tomoki. Yeah. Daylight savings. So you ascribe more heavily to the 4-hour work week methods of thought when creating and tackling your process? Meaning like dedicated focus and practice over simple mileage and rote work. Yeah, typically Bone Brew. I'm more interested in focused work with a goal versus, hey, I spent 6 hours today scribbling on a piece of paper. But that's just me. Different things can work for different people, of course, but I would much prefer to have if I'm trying to get better specifically, right? If it's just, but there's also different goals for stuff. Maybe I just want to get mileage just for the fact of getting into the habit of creating a sketchbook, let's say. Right? If I wanted to get into the sketchbook habit and that is the goal, then I might not have a goal per se from a technique standpoint, but the goal is to just open the sketchbook and do the bloody drawing. So there's that side of things as well. But yeah, I'm looking for efficiency a lot of the times. If that makes sense. He has Prince Valiant hair. I'm thinking even Lord Farquaad as well. Artist Dragon, how you doing? All right, so we're going to be using this as our reference for the sculpt, okay? So, what ways can we help ourselves when it comes to the sculpt? One, we can start to have a better understanding of what's happening in some of these transitional shapes, right? For the nose, for example, like is that flat on the top there, or is it more rounded? You know, we don't have to draw it all out, but just have an idea, right? Is there a bit of a gap with the eye, right? That then comes down and sort of connects to the nose maybe, or maybe it sort of swoops out this way. Is there any crease here, which is going to indicate a little bit of that mouth roundness? Right, these are all questions that we're going to come up against when we start throwing some sculpting around. And also, because I want to have a connected to a body, at least a neck, so maybe like a bust. Where is that clavicle? You know, the shoulder, something. At least we got a bit of an idea instead of just flying blind. To your point about efficiency, I notice on String you'll use references to create things, building from reference into a different idea or illustration. How often are you doing thumbnails to focus on comp? Sometimes it depends if it's like something that's not just not a throwaway. A throwaway is the wrong word, but if it's not just like a little sketch, right? If I was going to be like, all right, I'm going to do an illustration here, I'm going to sort of throw some effort into this, then I'll prioritize the thumbnails. But I'm also thinking, and I'm doing them because they're going to help me, not because I've seen someone else do them and it's something that I quote unquote should do, if that makes sense. Like, because I think as you learn some of this stuff, right, like thumbnailing, composition, and you look at other people do it, you can very easily just get into the mindset of like, oh, I just do that. I do like X amount of thumbnails to really get it. I'm doing it, or whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to do it to help me out. And as soon as you sort of swap your mindset on that, and there's a reason for it, instead of just doing it just to do it, it becomes very clear about, okay, how much time should I spend on this? You know what I mean? Well, then asking yourself, why are you spending your time doing thumbnails in the first place? Well, it's to help out the composition. All right, do you feel like the composition is feeling good for the result that you're after? Awesome. If yes, continue. You know, answers a lot of questions when you have that sort of reasoning behind stuff, at least for me. Did you have a good Easter? Many eggs? Yeah, it was a great. I didn't even realize it was Easter, if I'm honest, this year. It was just a Sunday. It just worked. Didn't do anything in particular. All right, now let's see what else could help us out if we did a front view. Because 3/4 is pretty helpful, right? But what's even more helpful is having different views. So the hair kind of goes to about there and flicks up. Brows about there, nose about here, lips about there. All right. Now this is where we get to understand a little bit about how the face might be structured. Kentas, how you doing? In New York City, there's a bunch of parades of Easter, and Sakura finally is blossoming in Central Park. It was a nice day. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, I personally really like thumbnails for problem solving and thinking about the final. Also find that it's less pressure when I'm going into something. 100%, that's what they're for. 100%. For me to sculpt, I need front and side view. Yeah, that's helpful. I think 3/4 is like a nice in between. It is actually the in between the front and side view. It's Mary Perez. I thought it was Lord Farquaad until I saw the reference. That's all right. I said that before. I agree with you. Diego, how you doing? All right, let's have a look here. So we got the nose. Maybe it could be even like a wider brow ridge here, potentially. Just thinking through. Now these are all going to look like funky as. It's not. We're not trying to go for prettiness at the moment. We're trying to problem solve and figure out the extremities of everything. So we got the side of the sockets, the cheekbones coming down here, nose, mouth. Maybe to here. Chin's a little bit too blocky for my liking. Now with the front views as well, the eyes, if you do them like dead straight in front, they can look very dead typically, because we like have two eyes and they all like focus on something. So if you're focusing on the camera, my eyes have a slight tilt in. So that's a little trick I'll use, is to just, you don't want to be doing this unless there's a reason for it, right? But just a slight, ever so slight tilt inwards, mate. Yeah, you got to tweak, you got to mess around with it. Otherwise, it's such a fine line between looking boss-eyed and not. How's that looking just from like the sketch perspective? Yeah. I don't want to spend all the time on this sketch. I like to start throwing some digital clay around. Alejandro, how you doing? Hola Ben, ¿cómo te va? I'm not sure what that means. I'm assuming it's how are you or something like that. Are you winning? I am. I am. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for popping in. Would you rather be an animator or a painter? I don't know what it's like to be an animator, so I'm going to say painter. Bone Brew, there's definitely not a quota. At least at this stage. I've got projects on the go, and those are the quota. For example, I'm thinking, or I'm planning to do like a piece based on stylizing the Project Hail Mary character, both Rocky and the main fella. That is something that I'll just be chipping away at, and it's done when it's done. But there's also another project where it's for like a YouTube video, and that needs to be done sooner rather than later. So that's got more of a deadline to it, you know. And quota is the wrong term. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Bone Brew. It's also a feeling like, I know it sounds a bit wanky, but there's also like a feeling of like, yeah, I haven't finished anything in a little while. And I'm kind of in that mode at the moment. I'm getting a little bit antsy. I haven't posted anything in ages. it's not a good feeling when you're only working on stuff that there's no tangible like thing to have in front of you yet. You know, it's all just like working and working and working. I haven't had a chance to try Rigify yet, Tomoki. I'm looking forward to it though. We got to figure out how thin her face is. She's got the lids here, which is going to give her that more character as well. Hola Ben, ¿cómo te va? Hi Ben, how's it going? Ah, ¿cómo te va? ¿Cómo te va? How's it going? How can I remember that? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te va? How can I remember that? ¿Cómo te va? Come over here. I don't know. That's how I try and remember it. I try and connect it to English somehow. Many years back, I was really into like memory and like increasing my memory and being able to memorize a bunch of stuff. And like memory palaces and all that kind of thing. I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about. But it's like how you can go through a deck of cards. Like 52 cards. You can put them out in a random order and give yourself like a minute or two. And then you could remember that order sort of just out of nowhere. That was a fun little rabbit hole to go down. Because there's all these little tricks. To sort of remember stuff. I've heard something from Adam Savage that made me really like sit with it. Relatable. I started my uni again and it's so hard to do personal art. Yep. Hippie. That'll happen. And it was follow the process, not the plan. And that's been kind of nagging at me because I feel like I ought to be producing more paintings because I feel the same, like I need proof I did the work. Yeah, that is that. There definitely is that feeling. It's like, yeah, I did. I'm not just sitting here doing nothing, you know? Alejandro, maybe we got to do that off stream because I don't think you're going to even get them through chat. Yep, memory palace using rooms in your house with like 5 places in each. Yeah. It's so fun. I used to sit and practice it like a fucking weirdo. Put the places together with the item you want to remember using humor, etc. Yeah, 100%. That's cool. All right, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a good book on it called Moonwalking with Einstein. There's a good little fascinating read. Not super useful in reality. I thought it would help me remember books and stuff more. But then I just... Yeah. You just don't really. Then it was kind of like, well, what am I trying to memorize the book? Like, you could be like, oh, cool, all right, I memorized like 10 books this year. Cool, what did you do with that information? Who gives you shit if you can remember it? Like, why not just actually... And this is all like non-fiction stuff, right? again, it comes back to that why. Like, what's the point? What are you actually doing? What's the purpose? Or like a Mind Palace in Sherlock. I'm not sure if it's like that, but I'm pretty sure it could be. I haven't seen Sherlock. When I was a kid, my folks had that mega memory course on cassette. That's cool. Use the speed readers tech for book stuff. Yeah, but yeah, you can, and then I got into like speed reading and stuff. But then at the end of the day, it's like, all right, your comprehension ends up going to shit. And it's almost just like a flex at the end of the day. It's like, oh, I read 10 books the last month. I'm like, no one gives a shit. Who cares? Cool, I guess. Like, unless you really enjoy doing that, then fucking go for it. But at the end of the day, I just found for myself, I was like, there's no point. If you're reading fiction, you want to take it slow and like deliberately. If you're reading non-fiction, you want to comprehend the stuff a lot more. The hardest part is turning numbers into consonants like K7. Yeah. All right, we got something here. It's not perfect, but I think it's enough for us to start whacking some digital clay around. Skim it 2 to 3 times before ever actually reading the book. Yeah, that's what I like to do. That's what I like to do. I like to understand the table of contents first to see where the most useful information is that I can sort of get to as well. Reading only chapter heading, subtitle. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about, Bill and Brute. Yep. $1 para el got. Alejandro, you legend. Appreciate you, my friend. So what is it? $1 para el got. Para. For the. $1 for the para. Oh no, para el. For para, is it for? Para el. For the. Just saying. How you doing? Great to have you. Hope you had a good time at WonderCon. I heard you say digital clay. Are you sculpting, modeling this? I'm going to give it a whirl. I'm going to be cracking open Blender in a moment. We're just doing some little sketches to begin with. So yeah, para el is for the. Okay, $1 para el. I love it. I'm getting a language lesson. All right, let's crack open Blender. Glad to hear it, Jasan. Yeah, looking forward to catching up when I'm back in town in September, I'm thinking. Catch up with you and Fahad. para él for thee. Cool. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Let us get these sketches. What's going to be the best way to do it? Do I want it in Blender? Or do I want it in PureRef? Let's start in PureRef. That's the... Let's do that. Got the screenshot. See, I'm not a fan of the front view, but it gives me a bit of information. Like all the eyes and everything are way off. The 3/4 feels more useful to me. Okay. Now, first things first. Get rid of this fella. Second things first. Add a cube. Okay. What I like to do, we're gonna do our best to like speed run this. Like what? There should be a setting, or maybe we're gonna write something where there's a setting in Blender where anytime you open sculpt mode or you add a new object, it just automatically does mirroring. The amount of times I have to manually do that. When you're going from profile to 3/4, are you using the same proportion measurements generally? If so, could you show how you map that? I'm not really. I was just eyeballing it. If I were to map that, I would just draw it straight across. See, like the chin's way too low there. If I was to do it like, but it wasn't in proportion to the 3/4. I just wanted to get an idea for it. Okay. Let us play. All right. Add another object. What are we thinking? Let's do another round cube. Again, give me that mirror straight away, please. That'll be nice. Okay. Nick. Hi, do you recommend screen tablets? Yeah. They're great. I use both. I use both screen tablet and just tablet. I'm on a tablet at the moment. May the tradition of erasing the starting cube never be lost. I like it. All right, looking blocky, looking great. Work it down here. Work it over here. So yeah, with the sculpting, because it's not my like native medium, I guess you could say. It's not something that I'm comfortable enough, but again, mirror, you mother lover. Do you work on an iPad as well? I do. I do. I feel like the ugly stage. I'm locked in the ugly stage for a fair amount of time. Or that could be just what happens with sculpting, you know? Maybe that's just how it is. Now I might even throw the hair in because it is quite a large part of her whole vibe. So let's again, mirror. Maybe the tradition of nice. I'm sculpting alongside you. Nice one, Tamogi. Hi, Ben. Great to see you sculpting again. Pavidarkin, thank you very much. Great to have you in here. If you were to send this to a sculptor on a pipeline in the near future, where I'm working to be your background artist, nice. Those things are more important, correct proportion mapping and all that. Yeah, because you're trying to. Again, it comes down to communication and the reason for doing it. right? Because I've got ideas in my head that I don't need to throw it down on paper, right? For speed. But that's where, yeah, being a very good communicator to your team is the most important, right? It's all communication. Because you got to get specific. And I actually learned this in software, with working in software and on a team, that what you think is like a no-brainer isn't always a no-brainer. You know, it's not as obvious necessarily. If you leave something out and you expect someone to put it in, just because you think it, yeah, of course, why wouldn't you do it that way? Well, it doesn't always work that way. So, will I ever draw Saul Goodman? Potentially. Look at that, we made Lord Farquaad already. Love it. All right, let's add the bangs. Shall we? Here. Here. Bum, 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 bum. Because this is going to give us proportions. Oh, again, mirror you. Why? Does it not mirror straight away? Yeah, there's like a sort of upward slant. Here. Wavy the Hermit, how you doing? All right, now let's start blocking in what we imagine her face. I might do a little bit different to what I did not last stream, the stream before, where I like sculpted everything in. I might start with primitives, like the nose, because you got a very specific nose, and it might be a little bit more efficient. Do I just do another round cube? Another round cube. To keep them separate, at least for a period of time, so that I can make large changes. So move the nose down, get it feeling how I want it to. Right, very straight. Okay. Again, we're working in that awkward stage right now. I mean, it's not looking pretty at all. Wavy, I'm good, Chief. What about you? Awesome stuff you have got. I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, going well. Going well. All right. Move that hair back. All right. The inkling to increase the resolution is strong right now. I just want to do the equivalent of noodle on the details. Frisky Felix. I didn't know you do sculpting too. Yeah, it's good fun. I enjoy it. Helps my 2D stuff a ton. That's a smart move. Separating nose, sometimes mouth is a good choice. 100%. Yeah, if I was doing it more properly, that's what I would do. Updates for my projects. I finally am getting the chance to work with a sound engineer buddy of mine I've been wanting to work with for years now. Congratulations, Bone Brew. That's fantastic. Oh, damn it. I'm out of bloody coffee. Hold on. I might need to do a little break. Now, also, what I might do, something I haven't really done. Also, anyone in here that knows Blender how to fill a whole thing in vertex color, instead of like drawing? I think it's attribute to see it. Yeah, like fill the whole thing quickly. Unless we just go to the Goog. Might just go to the Goog. How to fill Object, vertex color, blender. I know there's a shortcut for it. Shift K potentially. Let's try it. Nope. Just a big brush. I know, but I know there's a quicker way. And the issue is I use a set vertex colors command. Control X. Okay, Control X. Maybe. Aha! There we go. Boom. Control X, everyone. Control. Actually, no. What? Control X. Yes. Now move here. Control X. Nice. Now we do have Lord Farquaad. Cool. So just to separate the look of him. Face set brush. No. I was just looking for vertex colors. Just said. Actually, I should pick your brain about some of this 3D stuff because I'm doing a lot more of it recently. In the canvas, straight up drawn it, and by it will just say nothing. What? The mirror problem is always there to release the pressure. Curse and AI, it works for me. Cool. All right. Well, we've all learnt something. Control K. Fills your face sets. No, not your face sets. Fills your object full of the vertex color. Which could be helpful if you've got a bunch of different materials and you're just trying to get a feel for them. All right. So super low poly at the moment. Is it still poly? Yeah, it's still poly. If it's quads, of course it's yes. Idiot. Let's do another round cube. Round cube is getting a bit of screen time. This lovely Monday morning. All right, so what I'm trying to do is figure out where that mouth is going to be. It looks so stupid right now. We got to trust that process. We could do that. And then we could, if we wanted to, one little shortcut I like to do. Now I do have a lot to learn with the sculpting. But just for like the lips. Particularly in this more stylized way of doing stuff. X. Top lip. And then get that. And then rotate on the Y. There. It just gives you like a decent base. Looks terrible, right? But then we can always come back. No, no, X. That's where I want it. It looks absolutely deplorable right now. But we'll get there. Don't worry. No, we don't even need that right now. Cool. So we've got a base to start sculpting. It looks so bad. Oh, it looks so bad. All right, let's try it. Let's start making it look a little bit better. Okay. Let's increase that geometry. The resolution. All right, just something that's a little bit more manageable, where we can start to get some semblance of planes in particular. Planes are going to be a nice little tool for us. All right, got that nice little side plane. Is it reference to Pulp Fiction? Nope. I just like the look of this reference. And yeah. Also, what I have been doing, I used to whack in the eyes with the spheres to begin with. But recently, as I've been doing a little bit more sculpting, just drawing them in to get, like even doing vertex painting on top of the thingy, on top of the geometry to then get my eye placement. I'm feeling I want like a plane here, which would be nice. Plane under here. Okay. Side view, how's our profile? I think, yeah, it could even be pushed in just even a tad more. I think we need some depth to these sockets. Something like that would make more sense. This. Terrible looking mouth. We'll get there, don't you worry. More geometry. Because we're kind of speed running this, I would like to start. We're doing Lord Farquaad right now. Looking terrible. That's alright. Even just sketching some of these landmarks, let's say. All right, we've got to keep in mind though that we are in orthographic view at the moment, so it's going to look different. But see how we're almost like just sketching on the surface. We're not pushing and pulling too much. Just to get that feeling. Oh, I gotta fix the lips. Hold on. What do we do? Increase resolution. Here. Now, why is that not centered? Mr. Shelby's wife time. Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about. Nanatomics. Nanatomics. Yeah, I did read that right, I think. Whether I pronounced it right, that's a completely different issue. What am I doing? I can just go flip around that way. Alright, looks stupid. Just give me a moment. Un momento, por favor. Again, mirror, that's why. Make sure this one's mirrored as well. Alright. Now she looks a little bit like a fish. Hold on. Oh, I did pronounce it okay. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Lips way too big. Way too big. And yeah, this upper lip is like, it looks like she's got a bloody mouth guard in. Hold on. All right. Well, this chin way too big. There's going to come a point where it just clicks into place-ish. I'm hoping. We can only hope. Still looks like a fish. Hold on. Then we can actually do some sculpting around here. So I think that this part of the face should really be going back like this. No, she's got no chin. Hold on. Remember the times I burned out a memory card by adding too much geometry to a shoe? Those. Yep. That'll happen. Catch that at Bone Brew. Nathan, how you doing? Alright, I think we need to play around with the neck a little bit. Looking pretty terrible. Alright, save while we're here. Blender. Lord. Farquad. No. Okay. And future me is going to be very angry because I'm not going to remember what I name it. That's fine. So now I can get a little bit more funky with the hair. Potentially. More angular, I think, would benefit. I appreciate it, Nathan. Welcome. Whoa. This looks creepy as, and I like it. I think a nose can even be smaller. I think that's like skinnier up the top. Here, potentially. Yeah, it really depends. See, these are the types of things where you got to figure out. So my nose is angled upwards, not that much. And I think it goes a little bit back here. And let's see if we can carve in the eyes a little bit more. So actually move the hair back. By the way, I have a question. What do you think about learning stylization by copying stylization of bodies from others? I reckon it's fantastic. I do it all the time because it's all problem solving, right? And you can see how other artists solve different problems where you might not have otherwise thought to do it certain ways. Do you think there's something like too much reference, a reliance on reference? When learning stylization, like heavy references can be bad. I don't know if it's bad. I think you just got to make sure, and it depends on what reference. Are we talking about style reference? Are we talking about like photo reference as well? That's a completely different sort of question. The style reference, I don't think you can get enough of it. I think it's great. Style references, no, it's fine. That's how you learn. That's how you learn. I wouldn't worry about that at all. Get as much reference as you can, but do it in a way where you've got a goal for what you're using the reference. You don't have to always do it. You can just look. You can copy if you want. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. What I'm saying is, you're going to get a lot more out of it if you have a goal in mind when you're going into it. So maybe you're studying the line work of a particular artist. Focus just on the line work. Maybe you're studying the composition of a different stylization of something that an artist did. Focus on the composition, you know what I mean? So you can just keep focused and have a goal in mind, so then you know if you've been successful or not. Do you ever 3D print your digital sculptures and then use them as live reference to draw from? I do. All right, I'll be back in 2 minutes. I should probably write that somewhere. Let's say back in 3.75 minutes. Okay. Hello. All right. My headphones should be charged. Let's connect them. It was weird not listening to music. I don't like. I'm trying to get back into using Blender. Okay. Oh, let me. What the fuck? Oh, that's why the music was so loud. How stupid. Now you probably can't even hear the music at all. Maybe. I don't know what's going on. Yep, can't. There, see? I knew I missed something. I knew I missed something. Why is it modded? Oh my god, I'm gonna go nuts. Drives me freaking crazy. Where is the music now? Okay. Yeah. Maybe you can hear that now. There we go. Okay. Can hear it just fine. All right, cool. Cool. My apologies, guys. I'll get back into it in a moment. It's a little loud now, though. Okay, good to know. Go somewhere around here. Then you can always put your own music on as well. This music is not my musical choice, personally, but I'm paying for the epidemic, whatever, sound. Down a bit more. Hopefully that's all right. Okay. Now it's go time. Whack on my Spotify. Not down, up, sorry. Okay. There you go. All right. Why not put your music? Because I think it will get pulled from YouTube. All right. Got Red Hot Chili Peppers playing. Let's assess the situation. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. Okay. So I've seen people do this as well. They'll take the three-dimensional or the three-quarter view and then try and match it. So we can start to try and do that maybe to get it. It's looking terrible. Yeah, I forgot about YouTube being YouTube. Oh no, right. So we kind of locked the view. So we can see if we can eyeball it. Okay. So let's see if we can sketch something that's going to resemble what we've got. So now we're using both of our, or at least both of my artistic senses. You've got 3D and 2D. So I've only just started to do this kind of sketching on the form sort of trick. Now that chin. So this is illuminating a lot. Whoa, look at that. So that's why we gotta always be going back and forth between the different views, because they can get out of whack pretty quickly. Now look how wide that face is, so that's not what we want necessarily. I'm getting sick of these lips here. I think we just merge them and then we sculpt, because they're looking silly. They're not helping me here. Merge, bing, bing, bing. Merge. Why do they go black? Remesh. Okay. Control Option Q. Control Option Q. What? Dude, this is sick. How did I not know about this one? Just got to make sure they're all... Alright, well, I've lost... How do I center this? Where are they going? Where's she gone? There we go. Well, that's bloody helpful, isn't it? And we've saved. Chris, how you doing? Oh, this is perfection. Oh, Tomoki coming in clutch. Now she's almost got like like the face is sort of scooping upwards. Always you can resize them. Yeah. How? What the... This is sick. Oh, I'm very happy. That's fantastic. Tomoki coming in clutch. Bloody legend. Oh, dude, this is going to speed up my workflow for other stuff I'm working on. So good. Damn, giving her bloody crazy back muscles. What is the most time consuming for you now? Doing the video editing or creating the content? They're kind of one and the same. Most time consuming is the platform at the moment though. But from a content perspective, it is the video editing, I think. I'm still working on my video. Hopefully we'll upload this week. Ah, fantastic, man. Looking forward to seeing it. Alejandro. Oi, oi. Oh, hey, hey. Oi equals hey. Okay, cool. Oi. Now I'm because this isn't my comfort zone. I'm in a little bit more of a focus mode right now versus like painting or drawing. Alejandro, you legend. Thank you, my friend. See how it's starting to come to get like the lines are getting a little bit crisper. Things are starting to fall into place a little bit. The mouth is still scuffed as anything though. I don't know. Appreciate it, Tamoki. But yeah, like with anything, this stuff takes time. As I was mentioning a little bit earlier, I feel like there's quite a pronounced ugly stage of sculpting. But in oi, the Y sounds like the J in joy. Oje. 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 Oje, oje. Is that right? Apologies if you can hear kids screaming in the background. Oje. Now, oftentimes you'll find that the lips kind of a little bit too flat, meaning they're not wrapping around the surface. They're just like straight across. So we need to make sure that they go back, and that's going to sit them on the face just a little bit more naturally. She still looks like duck lips at the moment, but just having a little bit of that curve. Christian, how you doing? Is the matte cap on? No, I'm using oh no, it's not a matte cap. I was using Studio because I wouldn't mind also seeing and hopping back and forth with the lighting. Like, how's it actually looking and falling on the face, you know? This hair needs some more pizzazz. I do enjoy stylized art more. Alejandro, I am from Australia. Greetings from Mexico. Saludos desde Mexico. I love it. Eyes too big. I really want to visit Australia. Hopefully soon. Some of the cities remind me of US cities. Yeah. I mean, Adelaide here reminds me of San Diego. A lot. Hey, Ben, can we expect a material study course in Gumroad from you? You will get some material study stuff, not on Gumroad, though. It'll be coming out on my own platform, which I'll be launching very soon. But yes, material stuff, definitely. See, she's slowly coming, slowly but surely. She's taking her time, this lady. See, now she's getting some personality in her profile. Right, it's starting to... Something's starting to happen. Maybe you could sculpt the actual... So what way? Any suggestions to self-learn materials and rendering with light and color? Get really damn good at values first. Not first, in conjunction. Understand what light's doing, because that's going to help with when it comes to color and that kind of stuff. I recently discovered that you can adjust the pose or head or body by pairing it to an empty and manipulating the empty instead. This allows you to maintain objects' local access consistent. Fucking good idea, Tamoki. I knew that, but I didn't. But it's one of those things, like, this is kind of like a throwaway one, so I'm like, oh, I cannot be bothered, but I'll do it. It's a good practice. Oh, then we're going to parent everything. Now I'm going back. I'm doing it oh, am I? I don't know. Yeah, we'll do it. Let's just do it for the body. So yeah, parent this to this. No, I'm going to break the symmetry. To get that contrapposto. Or is it this way? I think it might actually be this way. This one looks funny. It does have that attitude though, right? It kind of starts to feel a little bit like that. She's like, But the neck is now at the wrong slant, I think. So this head's going down. Maybe the... Yeah, this head's... It'll do for now. I reckon we merge these two. The schnoz and the face shall become one. Whoa, she's got frostbite. Happy Easter, Alejandro. I already have your Gumroad course on the character. It's an amazing course. I could have gotten more out of it if I knew more about art fundamentals, as understanding of 3D shape is important for it. Yeah, definitely. I would almost like, if you can, get into some of this stuff. A little bit of the sculpting, pick up some clay, some like physical clay. Because if it's 3D forms that we're trying to understand, what's better than having the 3D forms there? So then it's like whatever medium that you try, it's you get like that constant, you get the source of what you're trying to achieve. Maybe we try and add some real eyes, some eye geometry. So now we've got our sketch. In place, and we can kind of use that as a reference. So let us grab. Oh no, it's not going to be centered, is it? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? So then if we mirror, is that going to help? It's going to keep, sorry, the mirror against this guy. Or is it just going to be flat? No, no, it's mirrored. Yeah, no, don't worry, don't even worry about it, everyone. Calm down. It's all going to be all right. It's nuts right now. Now, one thing that you'll learn with this stylized stuff is oftentimes, let's go local orientation. There we go. That the eyeballs aren't actually spherical. They're like a little pancakey sometimes. To get that look, that stylized look, sometimes they've got to be more of like an oblong kind of shape to fit in the sockets without them bulging out. You know the Norway international sensation artist Aurora? Oh yeah, it does look a bit like her, doesn't it? Eyes, yeah. The character you're trying to sculpt reminds me of the art style of Sifu's characters, as they too have more of shape sculpting, which is more of hard surface sculpting. Yeah. I don't know, to me it just looks very appealing. I like the look of it. What we can do here as well. So now we got to get that shape of the lid happening. Are you always painting with vertex? At the moment I am, yeah. If I was going to go further with it. I'd probably unwrap it and retopologize it, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to see if there's a way to separate layers when I paint. Yeah, there is. It's a bit of setup. You could try YouTube Paint, like the plugin. It's bleeding over, isn't it? Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? No, because we're going to have to be in a different view, aren't we? Maybe? No? Edit? Assign. Assign. Ugh. Or we just duplicate them. And then we just up the resolution. Do it the gross way. Actually, what might be beneficial is if we come here, not solidify, subdivision. And here go face, grid fill. And then you can come here, go edit. Get a little loop cut there, a little loop cut here. Then maybe a little loop cut there. So then when we up the subdivisions, it doesn't look too jank. Cool. Cool. Apply. Apply. No, I didn't want to apply the mirror because we still want them separate. So then, sorry, I'm talking through this. Then we can paint and it's somewhat accurate. Increase that resolution. Lots of different ways you could do this. But apparently I chose the somewhat hard way. I think it's definitely easier going from drawing to sculpting than the other way around. Interesting. Because I always thought that sculptors, it's like, yeah, you guys are working with 3D all day long. Then it's like translating that. But yeah, apparently not. Some people, I'm sure, they just like take to it. But I found a very natural transition between drawing and sculpting. Yeah, let's do a single vert. And then if we do subdivision surface, it's going to curve it nicely around there. Too large. Too much, maybe? Let's see how that feels if we mirror it. Now I wonder. I want to do something with how am I going to do this? Curve. All right, then we add this. Yeah, I'm trying to do hair. Then we add solidify. Just an indication of hair, I'm not doing it full on. And then we can fluff about with the thickness of it. Thank you, Tomoki, for the tip. And the unfortunate thing is I can't actually change the color of these, can I? Now, NURBS is weird. In some ways, they're easier to control. In other ways, definitely not. Just remember, it took me a couple of days just to play around with curves to create a complete. Oh yeah, yeah, curves isn't the most fun thing in the world. Anwar, thank you. Yeah, slowly but surely. From where we were at, I mean, it's night and day, right? I was watching this is the eyes, mouth, and bangs. Yeah, you know. Hmm. I think we can add one more curve. Maybe just do a standard Bezier. Fill them caps. So yeah, you really got to trust the process with this stuff because it can be very discouraging in the beginning. Oh, I know that, Tomoki. It's just a force of habit. It's just a force of habit for me at the moment. Whoop. Oh, I'm actually pretty happy with this. I was getting a bit concerned in the beginning, if I'm honest. All right, so I think I've got to. Let's just do this just for this. Get all these object, convert them to mesh. And that's not going to work for all of them, is it? Or is it? Maybe it is. Um, Okay, so let's wrap it up just for this stream. I might even take her a little bit further off stream. How's she looking from a silhouette, shapes, shadows? It's kind of cool. So let's come here. Let's just make all these black material. And then we can go here, 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 here. Link those materials. Great. Then the lashes. Black material. Cool, 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 cool. Now the face. Depends if we want to add a bit of color. That's the real question, right? Thanks, Tamoki. I really need to get back into Blender. Blender is fun. Blender is a lot of fun. See, and the cool thing is, right, there's no reason why you can't use this for your 2D work. Like different compositions, you know? Because it's like I came up with a concept, the character, stylized character off of a reference, but now it's all here. You know, we can play around with it. We can then push things in 2D that we might otherwise not be able to in 3D. Like I quite like this silhouette here at this angle. Okay. So what am I trying to do here? Let's put some vertex colors on her. We already have them here. So let's actually shading. This head, new, come here. Mid-iron, thank you very much. Or mid-9. Appreciate you. Let's do color. Attributes, whack it in there. So now they should show up. Boom, I like it. I think we could also just copy. Can we just copy this? Okay, boom, here. Apparently not. Maybe we don't have geometry colors on there. Okay. That's right. Let's just focus on the face for now. Now, I'd actually like it being a little bit more pale. Hello. What's happened? Okay, that's happened. What? Hmm. That's it, Tamoki. Catch you later, Kentas. Have a good rest of yesterday. It does a little bit, Tamoki, doesn't it? I actually don't hate the black and white hair. Maybe we could do a bit of that. Get a little bit of this. What on earth has happened here? Face sets, there we go. Then what would have to do? Let's go back to Eevee because I think my computer's going to shit itself. Why does that not do the thing that it should do? Hmm. Naming convention. There we go. Sharp face. How weird. No, don't need that. Don't need that. Color. Okay. Here. Color. Color. Cool. Color. All right. And we're back. She has the Aeon Flux hair point things at the bottom. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'll take your word for it. Hey Ben, quick question. To improve my painting from imagination skills, do I really just need to do value studies and raw dog paintings of things that interest me? I like how you put that. It'd be less of quote unquote raw dogging paintings of things that interest you and just doing value studies. You get more bang for your buck if you started to have a deeper understanding of why certain things are happening. Like, why does the light interact in a certain way on certain surfaces? You know what I mean? Why is it doing that? That's where you can start to really get a handle on imaginative sort of painting, if that makes sense. day really slows down when daylight savings has ended. True. I've been drawing for a few years now and started to dip my toes in the painting world. Mind boggling to think in shapes rather than a line. Love you. Oh, thank you so much. Isaiah Martinez. Great to have you. Look, I reckon I'm going to call it a stream on this one, I reckon. But I like the silhouette of I like her profile. There's a lot of tweaking to do. Could even darken those brows, I reckon. Cool. Look, I reckon with that, we will call it a stream. It was fun. It was getting a bit shaky there in the beginning. I mean, it looked weird. Just straight up. But we got somewhere. You know? Not perfect. Got a little bit of the head tilt. A little bit of the pose. I think the old head could be moved it just a tad. That way maybe. But yeah. Now look. All in all, not a bad little stream. And yeah, just want to thank you for popping in. Well, where did it all go? Started off with this little... Come on. And we're back. Started off with this little concept. And then, yeah, whacked open Blender, had a bit of fun. And for those that are in chat, appreciate you keeping me company while I'm practicing my sculpting skills. And for those that aren't in chat but are still here or just lurking, appreciate you just as much. Some cool things coming on the horizon. Keep a lookout. I will be seeing you next week. I believe now it's 6 p.m. PST on a Sunday, 9 p.m. EST on a Sunday, 10:45 a.m. on a Monday, Australian Central Standard Time. Every week we do these streams. And yeah, look, with that, I reckon we'll call it. I'll let you go. Have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you around the place. And I'll see you next week. All right. Catch ya.